Ladies and gentlemen, children of the interwebs out there, Sebastion, Envi, strong style cinephile, and Spider-Man. We got ourselves a batch of 3 episodes. Let's geek about it for a scant few minutes. First one, a few things happened in this. I think it was called Secret Identity Crisis. We see some fallout from the fact that Norman Osborn knows that Peter is Spider-Man. Pete's kind of like worried about what is going to become of him now that Osborn has that information on him. And we see that he just kind of wants to help. Parker saved his son, so he's being nice and not at all like there are no sort of like, I mean, it's Norman Osborn, but at this point we don't have any subtle or overt, stuff of him being, typically like Norman Osborn, like douchebag, business guy who's out for himself, who's kind of crazy, who kind of leads to the Green Goblin. We fully expect to get some Green Goblin stuff going at some point. Like, we know the show has like 3 seasons, like, guaranteed. So, fully expect there to be some Goblin machinations at some point in time. But at this point, Osborn just seems nice. He just wants to help Pete. And we see that he wants to pay him for the internship. We see that Pete is thinking about that because, bills are due at home. His aunt is struggling. She's selling Uncle Ben's like stuff. We see kind of the effect of Uncle Ben's absence on May, and she's just trying to process her grief and find a way through it, which is natural. Interesting to kind of see that, and how, I guess, fresh the wound of his death is. I'm kind of wondering what the circumstances of his death was, because obviously it wasn't because of a burglar. Well, not a burglar, like a robber at something that Parker could have stopped. So what are the circumstances behind his death? Was it just an illness out of nowhere? I'm really curious as to that. We'll probably get some information on that down the line. But Peter's just thinking about other people and wants to just keep other people safe and protected. Very nice of him, but it's kind of like he just woke up, every day with that in his mind. There's no Uncle Ben to kind of, with great power comes great responsibility type of thing to lay on him, which I guess is cool. It's different. Again, this is a different version, a different world, a different reality. I don't mind stuff being different. Just make the story good, and it's good. But arguably, I think we all can agree that, we know Osborn's going to do Osborn things, which leads to the Green Goblin. We know that Spidey's going to do Spider-Man things. But Lonnie Lincoln, his story, and we know that Lonnie Lincoln is Tombstone. So we see that Lonnie Lincoln has this idyllic sort of life where he's got the hot, smart girlfriend. He's a popular jock on the football team. He's actually smart, and he's doing good grades and stuff with Peter. Their friendship is awesome to see. But we know at some point in time, the fact that he lives on the other side of the tracks, and we got his brother trying to get involved in some gangland activity, and now he's going to get involved in some gangland activity. You gotta kind of wonder when the tragedies are going to start piling up, and what's going to happen to eventually turn him into Tombstone. Is it going to be something that's awakened in him, like a mutant gene sort of, like some sort of metahuman factor in him, or is he going to get doused in some radioactive stuff that turns him into it in this universe? I'm kind of wondering what's going to happen, but I'm fully invested in Lonnie's story because it's just he's genuinely a nice, good, upstanding, responsible, unselfish kid, and he's in for some shit, and I am along for the ride. I am concerned about the shit this young black gentleman is going to go through to become albino and angry and criminal and whatever like this iteration of Tombstone is going to be. I am absolutely positively here for it. Baddies of the week for this episode was James and Maria, the power couple, Bonnie and Clyde, however you want to call them. They got powers from somebody, like a power broker type of person. They go on a spree, they start kicking around Spider-Man, and he eventually, through the help of he eventually, through the help of Norman Osborn, solves what was kind of vexing him in the fight with them, and decides that, oh yeah, I should take Norman Osborn's help and his resources and his money from the internship and make my life better. Again, Spider-Man is going to do Spider-Man things. Osborn's going to do Osborn things. Things are going to go wrong at some point in time. But again, also, in this world, how are they going to do it? Like, we've seen this kind of stuff before. It's a matter of the execution. And will they do enough stuff that's a little bit different enough to kind of trick our brains into thinking we haven't seen that before? That's what I kind of go to with, I always say there's no real great ideas when it comes to movies and TV shows. There's great formulas. And the execution of the formulas in a way that just puts a little bit of a twist on this or that to trick our brains as we're watching it to thinking it's something different, even though it's something that we could like name 4 or 5 other movies or TV shows or characters or whatever that we've seen before easily. Like, we rattle off them easily. But it's the execution. And if they stick the landing to make you think, just think it's a little bit different. That's what I'm kind of wondering with this show. Are they going to stick the landing when it comes to Osborn becoming Green Goblin, how that's going to go down, if he's going to become Green Goblin? I mean, hell, he might, do something else. But there's a mysterious symbol that was on the fire dude from the first episode, that was on the power couple in this episode. He saw Osborn looking at it at some point in time. It's kind of hard not to speculate that he has something to do with it. All in all, it was a great, fantastic episode. And again, I am invested in Lonnie. So invested. But it's kind of funny, like, the stuff with Lonnie and the stuff he's going through. His mom having a panic attack because the brother comes home with the cops, and just that whole implication of the cops and us in this community. And that sort of stuff being addressed on this show. Hudson Thames is somewhere, like, punching air because of, like, how anti-woke, he is, and how just socially conscious this show is. I mean, did they only send him, like, the script with his lines in him and not see anything else? Because, I mean, at the end of the damn intro on this episode, I didn't pay attention to the other episodes. At the end of the intro on this episode, had Spider-Man up there, had Norman Osborn, like, right up there. And somewhere Hudson Thames is like, the wokeness, the wokeness. That toolbox. I mean, he does a great Tom Holland impression with the voicing of Peter Parker. But anyway, this was a great episode. Another great episode. And I'm here for it. I'm latching on to the story of Lonnie, and I really want to see what happens next. I am apprehensive about the tragedy that is going to befall him. But, yeah, it's great storytelling. Decent enough action. Animation, art style, it's still gonna take some time to get used to. But, I mean, it is what it is. I'm all for animated superheroics. And I'm here for the story. So, those are my thoughts on it, scattered as they often are. What do you guys out there think? Let me know in the comments below. Follow me on social media. Talk to me there. Talk to me here. Until next time, of course. And the next episode, because there were 3 in this block, and we're going to handle them individually. Let us geek.